Welcome to Jedala Fashion Guide. In today's video, you are going to be learning how to draft a princess dark bustier bodice pattern for a blouse. In this tutorial, you'll be needing a fresh core, a ruler, you'll be needing a tape, markers or pencil, and then I'll be using this cardboard as my pattern paper. So let's quickly look at the measurements that we are working with. So we are working with a shoulder of 17, a bust of 40, under bust 34, waist 36, hip 46, but we won't need the hip, nipple to nipple of 7, and our armhole depth is 8 inches. And we got that by dividing our bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. Our bust is 40 divided by 6, you will have 6.67 plus 1.5, it will give us 8.17. So we have rounded that up to the nearest whole number, and that is why we have 8. The shoulder to bust that we are working with is 10.5. Shoulder to under bust is 14.5. Our shoulder to waist is 17.5. Now our shoulder measurement will be dividing by 2. So 17 divided by 2 will give us 8.5. We'll be dividing our bust, our under bust, our waist, and the hip. Will be dividing them by 4. We are dividing them by 4. So we divide bust 40 by 4. We are going to be having 10 inches. 34 divided by 4, we'll have 8.5 inches. Waist 36 divided by 4 will give us 9. Hip 46 divided by 4 will have 11.5. And then in nipple to nipple, we'll be dividing by 2, and that will give us 3.5. So those are the measurements we'll be working with. We take this place as our starting line for the side, and for the top we're using here as the starting line. So this is the edge of the fabric, assuming you have folded the fabric into 2. So we'll be taking the shoulder measurements, starting from this edge. The shoulder is 8.5. This is a pattern, so remember to add the sewing allowance to your measurements. So I'll be adding sewing allowance to that. 0.5 inch sewing allowance, so it will give us 9 inches. And the neck width we are working with is 4 inches. The neck depth for the front part, we are working with a neck depth for 4 inches. And then the shoulder slant will come down by 1 inch. So let's mark them out with our ruler. This is the 1 inch. So this is our shoulder slant. This is for the neckline. And then with the help of a fresh curve, and give it a round neckline. Our armhole depth is 8 inches, so from the slope we mark 8 inches. And then we also mark shoulder to the armhole depth here as well, which is 9. Here is 8. Here is 1. So we square that out. Okay, so this is 9. So that is correct. Then on this line we will also mark the shoulder, which is 9 inches, so that you can get a straight line here. So this is our chest line. This is our chest line. So let's take all the vertical measurements before we come back to this armhole. Our shoulder to bust is 10.5. Shoulder to bust is 10.5 plus ½ inch allowance, because we need allowance. We need 0.5 inch to join it at the top, so add it, making 11. Our shoulder to under bust is 14.5 plus 0.5 inch allowance, we mark 15. The shoulder to waist is 17.5 plus 0.5 inch allowance, that will be 18. We also repeat the markings here again: shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, and then the waistline, so that we can get our vertical lines. Let's recheck this. It's supposed to be 15 and 14.5 plus 0.5. So always double check that your measurements are correct. So let's label what we have. This is our bust, this is the under bust, and this is the waistline. So let's come back to our armhole depth. Our armhole depth is 8 inches. Half of that, the middle, is 4. For the front armhole, we go in by ½ inch, but the back armhole we just maintain this front. If it were to be the back armhole, we just mark here. I'll use broken lines to differentiate that. So this is for the back armhole, but for the front armhole we go in. So that is our front armhole. So the next thing is to mark out our nipple to nipple point. We'll also be adding our allowance, 0.5 plus the allowance we have 4. So the bust line, mark 4 inches, and on the bust we also mark 4 inches, and on the waist we mark 4 inches. Use a long ruler to square that out. And draw a straight line. Okay, so remember that we're going to have a princess dart bustier. On this bust line, you're supposed to come up by 1 inch. If you were to be the regular waist dart, so come up by So we will come down by 1/2 inch so that this place will be free. But if we are to be the back pattern, we go up by 1 inch. But for the front bodies, from this bust point, we come down by 1/2 inch so that this place can be free. And then we'll take our first princess dart from this place, this 4-inch point, using our French curve. You can see that. And then we come down by 1 inch and also remark. Some persons, you can go ahead to measure the armhole length. They have 10 inches, half of that, which is 5 inches. That's where you get this. Our armhole length, we know it by bust 40 divided by 4, which is 10. That's also our armhole length. So let's remark that out. So you try not to come out like this. Let it be a curve. Okay, we are going to be cutting out this part. And by the time we do that, there will be a shortage here. So we are going to be extending this line by 1 inch. Extend it by 1 inch. So use a French curve to extend that. And then we have a new armhole. If I mark out a new armhole, let's see where the first one, the armhole depth gets to, which is 10 inches. So our 10 inches ends here. So we also extend that by 1 inch. So our new armhole. So we will no longer be using this. We will no longer use this. This is the one we're not going to use. On the bust, we are taking a dart of 2 inches around the underbust. We are also taking a dart of 2 inches on the waistline. Because it's a princess dart bustier, we want the bust area to be prominent, to come out very well. So you can decide to take your 2 inches here on this side, on the underbust and on the waistline, or you can decide to share it and take 1.5 here and 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1.5 inch here. So whichever one you want, depends on your customer's bust. So I'll be taking 1.5 here, and on this side I'll take 1/2. I'll do the same thing to the waist, 1/2, and I'll take 1.5 here. So first of all, I'll use a French curve to just curve into the bust area. Like so. And then for the 1 inch side. And then from the underbust to the waistline, use a log ruler. So we are cutting along here. Okay, because sorry, this is the 1/2 inch side. This is out 4 inch length, so we are cutting here out. Okay, so that just basically the pattern, and then you can now go ahead to impute the bust. Bust is 10. And now mark 10 inches and the sewing allowance, let's say of 2 inches. Our other bust is 8.5. Then you take this dart. You don't have enough paper here, so you take the dart, mark out the dart 2 inches, and also the allowance 2 inches. Sorry, it's supposed to be from here. .5, and then the 2 inches, and then the 2 inches. Our waistline 9 inches, plus the dart of 2 inches, and the same allowance of 2 inches. So don't forget, you are taking our measurement from this edge. From this edge. Our bust, let's go over it one more time. Bust 10 inches plus sewing allowance 2 inches. On the bust 8.5 plus the dart 2 inches, and then the sewing allowance 2 inches. The waist 9 inches plus the dart 2 inches, and then the sewing allowance 2 inches. So let's see what we have. Okay, then without the allowance, let's see what we have. So this part is our sewing allowance. So let's cut it out and see what it looks like. Cut this starting line. Shoulder line. The shoulder slope. See it out. and then cut out the neckline. Remember that our fabric will be unfold. So this is what we have. You have 2 of this, and then this is unfold. So when you open it out, you have another one of this way, another one of this way. You have this way, and then you also have this way. Okay. To avoid any sewing problem, you can notch here, notch here, notch here, notch here, notch here, notch here, so that when you are joining it back, it can match. You see why we added that extra? So that by the time you join, you see that you will not have any shortage by the time you join it. That's the excess of the 1 extra. You see it? No shortage. You just have it like this. So that is all for the front pattern. Let's quickly look at the back pattern. We are using this for our back pattern. So we are using this for our back pattern. Okay, I have it here. So let's mark out our starting lines. It's easier for this. These are our starting lines. So we'll start with our zipper allowance. I'm using 1.5 as our zipper allowance. So mark 1.5. So this is our zipper allowance. And then from there, mark our shoulder. We are using 9 because we have added 0.5 to 0.5 inches to that. Our neckline width is 4 inches by 1.5. And use your free hand to mark out the neckline, or use your French curve. So we are going to be cutting on this part. And then the shoulder slip 1 inch. Our armhole depth is 8 inches. So let's mark out all our vertical lines. Our shoulder to bust, we are using 11. We are not having under bust here, so just make use of the waist. 17.5, which is 18. Shoulder to bust and shoulder to waist. So this is our bust line, this is our waist line, and this is our chest line. This is our chest line. Our armhole depth. So let's mark out our armhole curve, the middle part. We are not going in, we just use our fresh curve to mark that part. So that is our armhole. And then the 4-inch nipple to nipple point from the bust. You will start after the allowance. You will not start before. You will not start from here. This is the zipper allowance, so you start from here. 4 inches. Nothing like that on the waistline. They use a straight rule. On the chest line, on the bust line, we'll go up by 1 inch. So that's the difference between the front dart and the back dart. On the waistline, we are taking ½ inch on both sides. So with the long ruler, these are our back bodies will also be on fold. We are going to be cutting here out. Okay, so let's take the other measurements. Our bust is 10. Plus 2-inch sewing allowance. Our waist measurement. Waist is 9 plus this dart, 1 inch dart, and then 2-inch sewing allowance, and of course the armhole length is 10 inches. You also have allowance, like 1 inch allowance. So this is the actual measurement, this is the sewing allowance, this is the actual measurement, and then this is the sewing allowance part. And because the pattern is for a blouse, to avoid any bulge, and this zipper allowance can go up by 1.5 inch, because you still use ½ inch to sew, or you go up by 2 inches, and then you slant it to the waist to avoid any zip bulge. Then now cut it out. So that is basically the back bodies. back bodice pattern, and then our front. So we have come to the end of this class. I hope you find this tutorials helpful. I hope you cannot draft a basic bodice princess dart bustier pattern. I'll see you again in another video. Bye for now. And please don't forget to subscribe and put on the notification bell so that you will be the first to know when next I post a new video. Bye for now.